So I'm looking like this for a reason. I actually recorded this earlier, and just being transparent. It's been a minute since I recorded. I did switch up my area some. Got a new little. I mean, you guys can't see it, but got me a little bit of razzle dazzle over here, looking a little decent. And essentially, I recorded this whole session earlier this morning and forgot to actually have my microphone plugged up. So I was really embarrassed. So I'm doing it this evening and just a redo. Okay. So new content, right? So essentially, I'm going to be going over Keltner's zone channel. Sorry, I don't know why I said zone. It's late, right? So I'm gonna go over like always. I'm gonna show you the written process. I'm gonna show you the setup, take you through live trades. The live trades that I have, technically speaking, it's 10 minutes recording. I did 10 minutes yesterday, Saturday, and then today, the 21st of Sunday. After 10 minutes, I get tired of recording. So with this opportunity, so it's more to me. I mean, it's there on the weekdays. Weekends it's a little slow because I mean it's the weekend, right? So it's not the market's not as volatile as it is during a weekday. So during a weekday, and that's kind of why I haven't posted in a while because I've been trying to test this out for the last couple of weeks. Um, I found that, the last process that I was showing with the Bollinger Bands and all the moving averages, I did the main thing I told people not to do, which is like over clutter, right? So you start to over clutter, a lot of information starts to conflict with each other, and then you lose like a sense of what you're trying to do. And then on top of that, I think I was trading like two different ways. I mean, I was trading other ways as well, just kind of based on my own knowledge. So I'm trying to make sure I'm doing this fashion that's like really user friendly. So if you're new to this, I mean, you can really follow these steps and get a lot of success. So I mean, like I said, we'll go into it, but I'm excited to share it with you. I'm not going to keep talking about it. Let's get to the strategy first, okay? All right, so Lock Nation, I'm trying. Y'all see it, right? All right, if y'all got any suggestions, look, you see how long this is. All right, I'm always keep throwing my hair stuff in these videos. I know it has nothing to do with what we're discussing, but this is my journey, and that's part of my journey too. I'm trying to figure something out here. But anyway, love you guys. Appreciate it. Anyway, so the new strategy, all right. As always, I always try to find like 3 to 5 things that I look for. With this, technically 4 to 5 is kind of the sweet zone. All right. So I'm going to go over the strategy. I know you guys can read this, so I'm not going to like go at it, verbatim. So I don't want to bore you. But first thing I always look at is recognize those candles. Recognize the candles on the chart. From there, Keltner channel, you'll see it. It's on the actual main chart. The actual process is you're waiting for 3 candles to fully form. But on that third candle, at the third second, no later than the second, you would enter. So all of them should be the same way. Your first 2 candles, and this will make sense when you see it. So don't stress if you're like, what are you talking about? But your first 2 candles should be big, big candles. Okay, big, thick candles that take up the channel in the direction of whatever trade you're going. And then that third one, while it is forming, at the third second, you are going to enter. Okay. Now I have done this, like I said, 2 weeks. I spent 1 week kind of blindly following it, and I was still successful. It's just like it took pretty much like 20 trades to get to where I need to be at, but I was still like 16 for 20 and somewhere in that area. Sometimes, I mean, you get lucky and get, I mean, more success, but I mean, that's still good though, obviously. So, but the key thing is like with this, your entries aren't as high. So, I mean, you guys saw kind of the entries that I was um, discussing with you before. Like, I have a whole plan around that too that I followed. I have a rush plan as well as one if you're just trying to like ease your way into it. All right. But regardless, even though, like I said, this is something that you could just blindly follow, I still want you guys to start off with demo. It's just that if you're following this process, don't waste your time. Demo it for like 2 weeks. If you're finding success in those 2 weeks or 3 weeks, maybe jump right into it. Like get into it because when I first started this process and I restarted, because like I told you guys, I was clearing my account every day. But I realized doing that I was afraid to, as I was climbing up there, I was a little bit afraid because obviously if I'm clearing the account out every day, I got to make a deposit every day. or I have to keep a certain amount in there. And my thing is like I was trying to protect myself to make sure, when I'm doing this options trading that I only have two trades, and if I miss those two, then it forces me to like make another deposit. So that was like my safety guard to myself. I don't feel like that to be necessary anymore. But I mean, starting off with smaller amounts and growing that way, growing the account as you are also reaping benefits is also beneficial. Okay. So understand that. We'll talk about that. But anyway, the channel, again, back to it. Third candle, you're jumping in there onto third second. All right. If the only reasons you would not jump in or follow that instruction if the prior candles are dojis, so neutral candles. If the current, and you'll see it like sometimes the channel's just like moving like crazy. So if it's jumping on both sides of the channel, in mere seconds, just find something else. Is moving too erratically. Okay. And then obviously if the actual channel is thin. Okay. So you'll see examples on the next slide of what I'm talking about. MACD oscillator tool, was still using those, and those are really used at the same time. Like you got to be able to catch these opportunities real quick. So all you're looking for MACD, you want to make sure that there is a cross. So you want to be, if you see this, you want to see a cross. Not too much of a cross, not too little of a cross. You want to make sure that cross is happening. You'll see examples shortly. Oscillator tool, you just want to make sure it's either going upward or downward. As long as it's not snaking out, you're good. Okay. So any direction of up and down is fine. It doesn't matter how much it's going up or down, as long as it's not straight. Okay. Which is impossible technically if you're following the other guides. Okay. And then the fifth thing, you're back at the Keltner channel again. And that's more so with the 3 seconds. Kind of went out of order. But like I said, you can go back to this if you need to once you actually see it. But as always, I always want to provide you guys with it written because that's what I use for myself, just in case I ever like forget what I'm doing. I always write down all my strategies in great detail. Okay. So let's go to the next page. I'm going to show you when not to jump in before we go into the actual setup. Okay, guys, so these are the three things you need to look out for. First being the pump fake. All right, so I'm gonna just go over this real quick because I'm gonna go over these in real time and the real examples. So the pump fake is if you're looking here, so this is your channel, first or foremost, okay? So your channel you got the top blue line, you got the middle blue line, and the bottom blue line. So essentially, you're basing your entry on middle blue line. Okay. So when middle blue line is reached, then that's when you're starting to pay attention to what's going on. Okay. So this is the main part. This is the main focus. Now I do have that moving average on there, and I only have that because I'm partial to it. You don't need it at all, to be honest. I just keep it on there because I've been using the moving average. So moving average is not important to have, but if you are going to use it, you can just use the default and just change it to EMA. But again, I don't use it for anything related to this trading style. I just have it there, I guess, visually because I'm used to seeing something. Okay. So just telling you that. So the pump fake again is when you start at the bottom, as you can see, if we're looking at this first red bottom area, I shouldn't say first, but the second red bottom area, and then it only goes to the middle and then it continues back down. Okay, so in real time, you wouldn't see any of this. Okay, but what I want you guys to understand is the time frame that you are entering is on that green arrow. So you want to make sure that the bottom of the channel is getting close or gets to the top. Even if it exceeds the top, that's fine. You just want to make sure that it fully crosses over the zone before it goes back down. Okay. Now I can show you process right now, so I guess I will, just so you can have an idea before we get into the main situation, right? So the Keltner channel hack, I guess we'll call it. Like I said, the first thing that you're looking for is the main cross, right? So that's this green arrow. All right, so it crosses and then it reaches the top, right? And then it crosses back to the middle area. Once it's in this touching this middle line, then that's when it's game time to start counting. Okay. So you are literally where that one is, technically speaking, that's a weak candle because the body doesn't, the majority of the bottle is the bottle. The majority of the body is over the middle. So that's not going to be your first candle. Your first candle is going to be here. So this is candle one, this is candle two, and then this would be your go candle. I'm gonna do this in green. All right, so how do you know how long the blah 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 blah? How do you know when it's 3 seconds, right? You're gonna enable your timer. So I'm gonna go over that with you in the next one. Okay, but this is really the process here. Okay, so after the first count, like I said, hopefully, I mean, sometimes obviously where that number one is, you'll run into a situation where that's going to be the first candle. It's just that the reason why this one isn't is because understand the body, that red body is mostly over that middle line. So we're not going to count that one. So we count the next one as the first one. The second blue arrow candle, as you can see, would be the second. Then the third one, you would jump in at the 3 second mark. Okay. And as you can see, it continued to go down. Now, the reason why you don't on this side where you see the red arrow is because sometimes it'll pump fake. Now, obviously, in this case, it worked out. But it's not you have to follow a process, okay? Because if you're jumping in there, then what, technically speaking, that one green so this one green candle did not cross over the Keltner like that. I mean, it's the wick. I mean, you're counting that as part of the body, but the full body hasn't crossed over. And if it did cross over, you want it to cross closer to the top end to make sure it's like a full cross. Okay. So in this case, yeah, it would have worked out for you, but it may not have. Like so just, and I've tried this where I do like the blind follow. The best opportunities to do well with this is if you allow it to go to the top. And what I'm saying blind follow is I'm not paying attention to anything else that's behind it. I'm just jumping in as instructed. Once I see the two candles and then the 3 second mark, I don't care about nothing else. I'm jumping in. Like you will find success in that. And it's just that in turn to be extremely efficient, follow the green arrow route. Okay. So pump fake, don't jump into it, allow it to go all the way up. Okay. The second one, thin channel. All right. If the channel's thin, understand the range is weak. All right. So there's not much area that's going up or down. It's best to stay out of them because if it crosses over, it may jump down. It may drop down or it may jump up. But will it jump up or drop down in the 5 seconds that you selected? You don't know. All right, so you want some sort of volatility, you want some sort of movement to make sure that it's going to get under there. So don't jump in if the channel's looking thin. Trust me when I tell you, you'll be able to see it. Even that pump fake one looks a little thin. This one with doji. So that area actually looks beautiful. That is, now these aren't warped at all. These like you'll see the channels as I'm sure taking through some of the videos, you can see like what they look like. So the practice side of this is when you get into the practice of doing this, you'll see what I'm referring to. You're not just looking at a picture. So thin channels, stay out of it. And then the neutral, if you have neutral candles behind it, stay out of it. Okay. Now this process has nothing to do with support zones. All right, you're not paying attention to anything else. All you are looking for are the things that I just told you, and you're avoiding these three situations. Okay, dojis and understand dojis don't mean so dojis are neutral candles. So they don't have to be like as you can see in those green ones where it's just like a candle. I'm sorry, a wick and then a small or pretty much no body. If it's a evenish size wick on both sides and the body's kind of in the middle, that's a doji. Okay, don't do it, okay? And the reason why is because I mean you can even see in this example, which is not even I didn't do this on purpose, but you see the doji area, and then if you're going to count, if you were going to count this, well, I mean you wouldn't actually because this area. I mean, yeah. So you technically wouldn't even. It's not even a discussion because it's not. There's nothing to go base it off of. So you would wait on the downside to go. But so you will be waiting here actually to get active. But you got one candle formed here. You got your second candle here. And then at the 3 second mark, likely it was reversing on you, so you would know not to jump in. So the candles need to be the same color. I'll discuss the areas, the hazard areas and the good areas here shortly. But like I said, if you want to just blindly follow it, I mean, feel free to do it. With you doing lower amounts, you will do better. You'll do good more than, I mean, you'll take more wins than losses, and that's what it's all about. But just if you want to kind of really perfect this thing, stay out of these situations. You can find other charts. Trust me, there's other opportunities. You don't even have to force it. Okay. Um, Another thing before I continue, so when I was doing this for the 3 weeks, I don't want to forget to mention this. When I was doing this for the 2.5 weeks, sorry, um, I was doing this like during different times of the day. So I would do, I'm Central Time, as I always tell everybody. So I would start around 9. Okay, the great time to start 9 Central in the morning. Uh, I would try around that lunch hour, 11 to 12 ish, great time frame. And then end of day, because I'm trying to help everybody, and I'm trying to be able to say, like, regardless of what your occupation is, what kind of availability you have in life, you can put 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, and knock this out. Okay. Generally speaking, on the long end, the only time that it takes longer than that is honestly if you're doing nighttime. So I'm sorry. Nighttime for me is 6 o'clock. So I would start at 6 or 7 latest. And it does start to get a little bit dry on the charts, but there's opportunities there. It just takes longer to get to them. Okay. So to each his own. Whatever you have time to do, that's fine. Realistically, I have to start, I mean, I did my studies on it and to try to explain this to you guys, but like you have to figure it out on your own. So just know that you're going to get different types of results, different types of success in terms of time frame of being able to knock it out or not. If it's a weekday, a week, a midday, a end of the day, a weekend, weekends in the morning seem to be a little bit faster. I was able to get, yeah, than nighttime, so just you should be writing this stuff down. Like if you're taking this thing serious, you should be making a chart. I don't care if it's on a little scrap piece of paper. Like notate the times that you're trading so you can find the most favorable time that works for you, because you have to be realistic with yourself. This is your life. Okay, so you got to make a schedule for it, and whatever schedule gives you the most success, do it. I do not recommend having this stuff on your phone. I had mine on my phone, but then I was doing dumb stuff like trading while driving and trying to click a button and messing up, and so I took it off my phone immediately because it was like you're trying to obviously pay attention to the road. Probably shouldn't advertise that. Sorry. Don't drive and text or do any business. All right. So anyway, we'll just take that one out. Y'all didn't hear that. So let's go to the setup. All right. Okay, so you guys should know where to find everything. All right. So if you don't, yeah, when you go to your actual chart, you'll see where the arrow is, that little candlestick looking icon, and you're going to select Hakanashi. All right. So this is based on Hakanashi, not the regular candles, because regular candles give you everything, where it opens and closes. Hakanashi, I try to explain it like it's an average. Okay. Key thing, 5 seconds. All right. So candles have now, or these candles are now at a 5 second time frame. I can't recall what I was doing on the last video, if it was 30 seconds or a minute, but this is 5 seconds. And then you are going to enable that timer, which I did not know existed, but please use, I mean, you have to use it if you're using this process. If you're not using this process, still do it, because sometimes, especially on certain times of the day, if the server is like really busy, you'll run into those moments where it's the clock is moving at a certain time or speed, and then all of a sudden it kind of freezes. And so if you don't have a timer on there, you're assuming that, hey, it's just not moving or whatever the case is. But it can be frozen. All right. And they can do that also, obviously, if you're already in the trade, and then all of a sudden you don't see if you're active. So now you're pressing the button more than once or whatever the case is. And, whatever the outcome is the outcome. So enable that timer. Know that, hey, if the timer stops, I don't care if it's active trade or not active trade. If it's a good looking trade, don't do it. Stay out of it. Okay. Stay out of it. All right. Because you don't have all your information in real time. And this is very urgent to have this in real time. Okay. So that's how you set this up. How can I show you? 5 seconds, and then enable the timer. So indicators that you need. You got the oscillator, you got the moving average, and then MACD, which I do not have selected. So sorry about that. But I meant to put a star next to it, but your MACD is right here. Okay. So you got your MACD there. Moving average again is not necessary. I just have it there because I'm just used to having it. I've been using moving average since Forex. So nothing, no special instructions on any of these. You just use them as default. If you're using a moving average, mine is set at EMA, but everything else is normal. And again, moving average is not used, so it's not even important to know that. Okay, so I'm gonna take you through the live trades for Saturday, and I'll discuss those as I always do very thoroughly, and we'll keep this thing rolling. Okay, guys. So as I mentioned before, in terms of process, all right, I'm gonna just walk you through this real quick. And in terms of in order, in a perfect world, I'm looking at my this area first, these two simultaneously, so 2 and 3 together, and then I'm finishing up here. Okay, so that's the order that I'm looking at everything because you have to be fast to see these opportunities. Okay, I'm going to show you real quick again how this hack works. Real quick. So, I mean, obviously, unfortunately, I can't. I mean, you'll see it in live, so I guess I shouldn't even say unfortunately. Let me find a good color for you guys. So let's go with purple, right? Can you see that good? No, it looks terrible. I'm sorry, I'm tired not to use white. Uh, yellow? Yeah, let's go with yellow. Okay. So, see, I don't edit these. We just go in here and we I don't say we wing it, but we wing it. All right. So if I'm backtracking, like, I mean, I have the answer here, but I'm just showing you how this works. All right. So let's say, I mean, all of this works, but let's go with the one that's clear and obvious. All right. No, I'm just gonna go be fair. I'm gonna just go with the first one I see. So in terms of this actual trade here, this would be the first opportunity that you see. So if I was to log in just a little bit earlier, I would have saw this. I would have jumped in this. All right. So where do I jump in? I'll try to explain. I can't see the time frame, but you guys will get the gist of it. All right. So top of the channel is breached, as we can see, and now it's going to my middle channel. Okay. So middle line in that channel is breached, right? So once that happens, I'm focused on, hey, what is happening in this trade? Okay. So in this case, the next one that you're seeing is now a green one, so I can relax. It's going the opposite way. It looks like a pump fake. I'm not going to press buy on or anything. I mean, it wouldn't qualify at this time anyway because it's not at least two full candles. But I'm not focused on a buy. I'm focused on sell energy only if it continues down. All right. So this one would be the first candle. I'm going to do this in. I'm gonna do this in. I'm gonna do this in green. Sorry for the mix-up, but so going green against the red. But this would be the first candle that I look at because in real time, as you can see, the candle went all the way at the bottom of the channel. It went through the channel, but then at some point it ended up closing back near the top, okay, or near that middle. Because of that, and that is not considered a strong candle to me, because the box, again, the body is halfway at the top half and looks like less than halfway at the bottom. So that first green arrow is not the number one arrow. The number one arrow to me would be this one, because now the majority of the candle is in my sell zone. All right, so that's my first form candle. All right, so I see that. At the same time, I see my red is over the green, so that is good to go. And I see this is also pointing down. Okay, so real quick, I see those. I see one, and then I see 2 and 3 at the same time. That is as thorough as you need to look at it. The only problem I would have with this is because it looks like It's I prefer to catch it around the close cross zone, like around this area. So I prefer, in terms of a preference here, I prefer to be in this area rather than too far down where it's doing all this. But that's not important. It doesn't matter for this. I'm just telling you it's a personal preference, but I still would jump in regardless. Okay. So you see the first form candle. You see the second form candle is just as big and it goes further down. Now, again, we're considering wicks. So where do I jump in? I would jump in on this candle wherever the 3 second mark is. Now, the important thing to realize is the 3 second mark, I don't know where it's at, but as you can see, this continues to go down. Now, these are 5 second candles. So 3 seconds on this candle with the arrow, with this ugly arrow I just made, understand that 3 seconds into this one, this is clearing out. So chances are I was underneath that spot. Okay, I was underneath, and I would have made my win for the day, for that trade. Okay, so that is how that works. Okay, you'll see it in real time when I actually have the timer, but that is how that works. On the other end, you have the same thing. So now that we have this cross area, let me erase some of this mess. So in the cross, when I'm talking about a cross, I'm talking about the cross of top of channel to bottom of channel, okay? Or at least getting to the bottom of it, or near the bottom of it. So I'll see this, okay? At the same time, this looks weak. I mean, this you wouldn't jump in here, right? Because I mean, you're waiting. You know the wait because the red is over the green, so you're still waiting. This is pointing upward, which is no surprise. That's fine. So essentially, you're waiting to this action takes place, which really would take place around this area. Okay, so this technically would be your first candle because, yeah, the majority of the candle is at the bottom, but you have a nice amount of it into that top zone. So this would be your first candle. This would be your second candle here. And then 3 seconds into this candle, you're activated and you are in there for what it looks like another successful trade. Okay. So you'll see how this works in real time. And then again, this situation you would stay out of because this is a pump fake. Remember. So we want it, even though it would have worked out, we want it to go to the bottom. You have to stay consistent with your approach, even though you missed an opportunity. You won't like. I mean, as you can see, I mean, yeah, if this is a well, this probably back here worked out too. So it doesn't matter. Like I said, stay consistent. Don't jump in on pump fakes. Trust me, you may win sometimes, but you want to avoid those losses. Okay, it's just not necessary. So I'm gonna go into start the trade. So let's get to it. Um, I want to highlight this too. I forgot to mention OTC. OTC. Remember, you are doing OTC assets. All right, the assets that you are doing are currencies only. I haven't done this with cryptocurrencies. I've been finding success because cryptocurrencies generally move a lot. They move around a lot. So trust me, just do regular currency. That's your Euro USD, JPY, so on and so forth. Okay. So do that at the O and make sure it says OTC. Now, if you're trading in the daytime, sometimes you'll get into just clicking a button real quick on assets, and you'll hit like a non-OTC, and it's going to default your timer, like your entry timer, to a minute. Okay, that does not automatically change when you go to an OTC model. So please make sure you are paying attention if you're like cycling through stuff, because there's nothing worse, which I've done, is see something real quick, and because you're not looking all the way to the right, you're entered in at a minute or whatever, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is a 5 second strategy, not a minute, so now it's nerve wracking. Okay. But it shouldn't matter anyway because you shouldn't be trading too much money anyway. Okay. So relative to what you have in the account. All right. So let's get to the process. Let me stop delaying it here. So obviously I didn't jump into this one because this is something I already missed all the opportunities. So I'm just trying to find something here. These are nine. So this is technically, like I said, Saturday evening. Um, uh, I this is 10 minutes of recording. I just cut out all of the waiting around because it was very slow. Okay. So I just showed you the highlights essentially of the wins. I only traded 3 times, and then I traded 2 on Sunday. Again, I don't think I'm going to do too much weekend trading because it just takes too long, and I don't, I got stuff to do. Okay, and then also with this strategy, I've been doing a lot. I'm actually been doing more than 5 trades during the weekday, so it's already kind of like doesn't make sense. Okay. Because yeah, if I'm doing 10 trades over the weekend and I'm doing extra trades during the weekday, I already hit that weekend goal. That's how I'm looking at it. So this is for the sake of science. I don't have time to record during the weekday when I'm trying to work and stuff. So let's get to it. So I'm gonna let this play out real quick, and then I'll go back and explain. And hopefully you guys are catching this. All right, boom, we won, right? So I'm gonna go back here. So the first thing before the trade. So the first thing I want you to see, and I just scroll back, so we're on the same chart, just so you know. So I'm gonna hit on some areas. So first thing I'm noticing is this big, beautiful channel. You see this? This isn't warped or anything. This is what it looks like. You saw how the other ones were looking, right? So this is a nice size channel. That means there's a lot of movement. Now, key thing, you didn't hear me talk about, well, yeah, and any of the details when it comes to trading, I didn't talk about anything like, oh, stay out of consolidated zones, because this is definitely a consolidated zone. This is consolidation, not at its finest, but it is consolidating. Okay. And it's telling you that. I mean, you see it here, but this is how the weekends go. Now, if you're going to trade on the weekend or trade at night, I'm gonna just be honest. If the trade is going in a certain direction, don't trade against it. Like if it's going clearly up and it's going down for a little while, it's going to retrace and go back up and vice versa. So just stick with it because like the weekends are extremely slow and typically it's going to go and stay at a certain direction. But if you find something with consolidating zones, don't shy away from them. Like that's personally, I mean, to me, that's how I knock out a lot of this stuff, honestly, in in less than 10 minutes. Okay. Because you'll find more than one opportunity. You know what I'm saying? You'll find, I just showed you, in the last one, like you find more than one opportunity in the span of a couple of minutes. Okay. Because remember, each of these candles are 5 seconds, not 30, not a minute. All right. So, first thing, just to go back over it, first thing we notice, big channel, right? Big channel. We love that. Second thing, I've already noticed that I'm late. So this is one. Let me do this in green actually, because that's what it was looking like. I don't think I discussed the channel as one of the main things when I went over this, so sorry, but whatever. Because it's not really the main thing. It's just to be safe. So first thing that I noticed on this particular situation, wide channel. Second, we got a bottom. And again, I'm not looking at anything behind. So whatever happened behind me, I'm not focused on. But you see, there's a pump fake. I'll just show you. I'll discuss it after. So anyway, the second thing, you have a top side of the channel going all the way to the bottom side where that arrow is, right? So that last red wick that's going all the way down, touching the bottom of the chain, all right? Third thing, so I had to act fast on this because I almost missed it. So you see the little alligator mouth open, right? You see that? Yeah. You want that. You want that cross. Now this isn't the ideal cross. I generally like it to move like once it kind of moves a little bit more, that's the ideal spot. But looking at it, I only have 2 seconds to make a decision, so I'm in there, right? So again, MACD and oscillator, you are looking at these at the same time because they're right next to each other. It's not hard to see. So this is 4. Now the fifth thing that I'm looking for, and I'm so sorry. Let's do this here. So the channel is the first thing I'm looking at. The second technically is this area, and then I'm gonna say technically number 3 should have been the 2 candles. I'm sorry, it's late. All right. So we got the 2 candles where the green is pushing up, and then it goes back down. Then we got another one that is big in range, and then then now we got the third one, right? So normally speaking, like I told you, that first one, I mean, if you decide to stay out of this, this is fine. The only reason I took this chance is because the channel is wide. If the channel was narrow, I wouldn't have done it. But again, remember, you want to consider the wicks. You got to respect the wick. So the wick of that generally goes, I mean, it typically, I mean, it's really up there. Like it's up there towards the top of that zone. Okay. So the last thing that I'm looking for, I'm going to erase this here. I'm going to, these are four. I'm going to put four together because honestly, these two I'm looking at the same time. Okay. So that's four. So you're looking at one, the channel, two, I see the bottom touched, and then I see it's going upward, and I have two candles, so I got to make a quick decision. So that's my third one. Four, I'm looking at oscillator tool and the MACD at the same time. I see it's upward and I see it cross its form. Okay. So the question is, what is it doing at the third second? So it's going down, boom. So now it's went down, which is fine, right? I'm trying to activate it. So I actually pressed it a lot faster than that, but play video games, make your reflexes a little bit faster. So just know that. So jumped in at this point, right? And even if I jumped in, I wanted to jump in when it was further down because it was still in my, what I like to call is the sweet zone. All right. So the sweet zone, because this is a buy, if you can see this, you have top. Oh goodness, that's not a good line. You got the top and you have the bottom. I'm sorry, you have the top of the channel and the midpoint of the channel. Okay. So the sweet zone, and you just have to get a feel for this. The sweet zone to me is about this area and up. Okay. So anywhere in these areas, I want it. Okay. Oh, and I just messed up. So where I don't want to enter is down here because this may retrace. If it's like near the bottom, I would just stay out of it and wait for another opportunity. The other areas, I should give it a little bit more space anywhere above like this red area. Okay. So I have that little gap there personally because you can trade at this spot if you want to, but and it can still work out. It's just to me personally, I like to be in the channel still. Okay, but if it's a little bit above the channel, that's fine. If it's well over the channel, don't do it. Okay, because it may reverse on you. Okay, because it may not like in that third second. Like understand in that third second, it may reverse on you. Okay. I mean that third candle. Okay. The other part where you don't want to jump in, if we're giving this one as an example, is if I'm gonna erase this because you guys get it, right? The other part where you don't want to jump in is if in the same situation, this candle, so just act like this is the full candle, was this big, this candle was this big, and then the third candle is down there. Okay. So if you have channels that are well outside, and then you have a small third one form, and there's a chance that that's going to reverse, stay out of it, find a better opportunity. Okay. There's lots of them. Okay. So I'm going to continue with the video and go over the next one. And just anybody that's new to this, which hopefully you're not, um, the so again, with binary options trading, what you put in, you will get a return of so I do 92%, but you can put in a 92% return. Not you don't put it in, I'm sorry. There's a return next to the asset. So the assets change based on the time of day, the return levels change. So you should be always paying attention to that. So you're at whatever you enter, you can win it with the return included, or you can lose it in its entirety. Okay. So I like it because again, if you're starting off, it doesn't like with Forex, you focus on so much leverage. You have to have so much money in your account to make meaningful money. With this, like I said, I started this account out when I was redoing the process, which I'll go over with you later on. I started off with $50 and I just grew and grew and grew that, which is really not that hard. Okay. So you don't need thousands of dollars. You don't need hundreds of dollars. Honestly, I mean, $100 is probably fine. I wouldn't go crazy with putting a bunch of money in there because you can really, if you know what you're doing, you can really grow it. and that way you just minimize your actual losses, okay? Because if you grow this thing to thousands of dollars, but you only started with 50, just understand if you have a bad day or two, and you're controlling your losses, of course, then you understand you're still in profit, right? You haven't really actually lost anything. So, yeah, food for thought. But we'll talk about it. Let's go into it so you can see it. So, boom, 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 and you guys see that 5 second marker, right? So, boom, 3 seconds. All right. So, so maybe I did click it on time. It just reacted late. So yeah, so I take it back. So it activated at the 3rd second. It just took longer, I guess, to show on the screen, but whatever. So as you can see at the 3 second mark, we're good. So the timer is definitely a go-to here. So 3 seconds there, and this lets you know these are 5 second candles. That's what that means. Okay. So use it, guys. I mean, you have to if you're going to use this process. So boom, celebration. We good. We in there. All right. Do we see anything else? No, because where are we? We well over the channel. The only other opportunity I'm looking for is a sale, but let me see if I can find something else. All right. So for this one, another quick one, as you can see, it qualifies, right? So it's consolidating, but does that scare me? No, right? So I jumped in again. We got the bottom here. So this is my first thing I'm looking at. Let me do it in green. So this is my number one. Okay, then I see. Um, Now, obviously, this channel is not the widest channel, but it's not super thin, so I'm fine with it. All right. They're not always going to be wide like the other one, so whatever. All right. I'm not paying attention to anything that's going on behind us. I know this is giving overall sale possibly, but just understand, and maybe I should explain this. When you're trading on a OTC, it's over the counter. So this is algorithm based. All right. So support zones, what's going on in the world, all that other stuff does not matter. This is based on an algorithm only. So I shouldn't say only, but this is based on an algorithm. All right. So all those other factors, there's not enough time for the system to catch up to like really reflect that and it go like with or against you. So with that said, don't pay attention to anything else. Just pay attention to what I'm showing you. And if you do that, like I said, document yourself. If you're doing this the right way, like I'm showing you, you all should be successful. I don't know how else to make this any easier, all right? But again, first thing I see is that, oh man, I'm already at the end of this. So again, I got to make a quick decision. So that's how fast you have to be. So bottom's touched. Channel looks a little weak, but I mean, it's not weak. It looks all right. It's not that bad. Two, crossover is back here. All right, so I'm already in a buy. It's not the best crossover because now I'm late, as you can see. I prefer to be like at the near the opening of the mouth, but I'm gonna take it, right? So because I have to, I got to stay consistent with my approach. So this is two, both of them are two together, right? So it's still, so I know this is kind of doing this thing, but it's still overall going up. All right, it's not completely straight. All right. Um, so that's one, that's two. The three is my candles. So I have one large candle here that's touched the top, went down, which is good. And then I got another large one supporting it. So these are my third things that I'm looking at. Again, I would count the channel, but this isn't the best channel, so it's not like a main indication as to why I jumped into this. I just had to make a quick decision. So I got one, I got two, I got three things, and then all of a sudden I'm waiting to see where my four is. So four is going to be my zone. Remember. So in terms of zone, we're talking middle. Since we're talking buy, we're talking bottom to top. All right. So I'm saying bottom to top because I'm in the buy zone. So sell zone would be the other half. So again, visually speaking, it's a small channel, but this is the area I don't want to be in. So this area down, and this is the area I want to be in. I'm not going to color the whole thing because it's blocking, but as you can see, it is in my green zone. So even though right now when you're looking at it, it looks like a pancake, it looks like somebody just sat on it, right? It's still in that green area. Okay. I'm fine with that. Also, with this being a weekend, I understand that the market is generally looking like this. It's slower moving, okay? So that is what I expect. That is fine. That's why you'll get the practice of it. And what does it do? It shoots up. All right. So it starts to pancake down, which is fine. I'm not afraid of that because it's still in my zone. When I actually, at the third second, it was in that zone and I pressed that button. Then it shot up on me. Boom. Got that money. Right. So two trades down. Following process, okay? Again, no conversations about zones. Are there zones? Yes, there's always zones somewhere, but how do I know? I don't know because these are 5 second candles. So looking at a zone on a 5 second candle is crazy. So sorry, it just is. All right, so we're not talking about zones. You're looking for those things that I have pointed out to you, and that is what's going to help you to be successful. Again, this is a very easy follow and let's find the next one. This is the hard part. Sometimes you just end up jumping in late and you have to make a quick decision. So that's why it's just best to iron this out and get it all prepared, right? So I'm trying to see if there's something here. I'm making a case to like trade at that one only because it looked like that prior low was close enough to the bottom, but it wasn't, so I left it alone. This one you stay out of, obviously, because it's all hanging out underneath the channel. Same here. This is crossed over. So again, I'm in a situation where we have, we got weak candles all over the place. All right. Weak candles. And honestly, the good thing about this is, and now that I think about it, so this area, this area and back is weak. All right. But if I'm where this candle's showing, if you're just again following the hack, I mean I missed this opportunity obviously, but this would have qualified as another possible win. All right, so you have bottom, you got this one. Now this first green one's a doji, so this is your first candle, this is your second, and then depending on where the 3 second mark is, you probably could have won. But again, like I said, it just depends. It just depends. So like I said, you follow these blindly, you can have success. But me personally, looking at it at the time, I guess it just because I mean this is like I said, this is kind of like the doji stuff that you stay away from. So, I retract. I would have stayed out of this. But if you did jump in it, you like I said, it's 50-50 obviously, so it could have won, could have not. So if you're blindly following it, you don't care about any other rules, this could have been one that you won. But I'm going to show you the route that I took. So I don't want you guys to do all that and mess yourselves up. So follow the rules, all right? So first thing I noticed, what? All right, so decent sized channel, not the best size. So that I guess technically speaking, weak channel, but it's this is Saturday, all right? That's an arrow. Don't judge me, okay? But we have here, so this is two. We got the top breaching I'm sorry, the cell energy breaching that middle zone. All right. Now the first thing I see is that actual, and I'm sorry, I'm pointing at the wrong candle. This candle here, that big thick candle, right? That's went all the way from the top half to the bottom half. Beyond the bottom half is my second thing that I'm noticing. All right. So that's two, three, and four, as you already know. All right, we got the cross. We got a good cross and we got a downward pitch. That's my three. Four, like I said, we're back up here. So let's play it out here. So I came in kind of early, but this would be my fourth. So you see the two, now we have two qualifying candles. Big candles take up a lot of space. So now the last thing I'm looking at is my four. Where is it going to be when the 3 second hit marks? So visually speaking, this is why it's good to have a nice size screen so you can see this stuff. Um, so terms of sweet spot and not so sweet spot. Don't want to be here, but anything, I don't want to say anything, but this to the bottom is good to go. All right. So let's see where we enter. And the only reason I was kind of hesitant on entering this because with all that slow movement going up, my experience tells me to wait for it to go back up. But I was tired. Like I said, I was reaching like almost 10 minutes, and then this was like end of the night. I mean, you see the time is 21. So this was yeah, this is a 24-hour clock. So this is real late, and I was tired and I was ready to leave. So I just jumped into this one. As you can see, I switched my amounts just to be safe, so I don't lose anything. Because I wanted to guarantee that I gave you guys 3 trades for that day. I was trying to get to 5, but I couldn't do it. It just took too long. All right, so we're still in there. Boom. Okay. So back it up some, but you guys see exactly how this works. All right. So 3-second hit, boom, done. Okay. So this stuff is not that hard, man. You guys can follow it. I got 2 more examples from the current day, and then I'll show you guys really the plan, and we'll take it from there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and you guys, if you haven't already, make sure you're liking, subscribing. Don't be haters. Nobody like haters. All right. All right. So we're on to the next day this morning ish. Right. So we're just going to continue with the same process. So hopefully you guys see how this works. I'm trying to be very detailed with it. So opportunity, I'm running over to the side to try to get ready for a sale. So first thing I'm noticing, that channel is opening up. So that's my first thing that I notice. I'm going to erase that because that's going to be in the way here in the short. It probably won't. So the channel opening up is the first thing that I'm noticing. All right, so that's my number 1. 2, are going to be these areas together. I shouldn't even say that's 2. That's more like 3 because I'm sorry. I saw that big candle drop first. That's technically the first thing that I saw. So I'm going to just say this is my 2. So big candle dropping to the from top to bottom. That's technically going to be the first thing that you see if you're really looking at this. So 2 and 1 you should see interchangeably. Candle size, the channel size. I mean, you should be seeing those. Okay, so 1 and 2 together. 3. Now this one is a little bit different because it hasn't crossed yet. Right. So this one crossed down here, but as you can see, this has not crossed. Now, let this have been the 3rd candle at the 3rd second. I would not jump in for a sale. I'm not jumping in for a sale if it's like doing this. I want the cross. I want that alligator mouth. Okay. So just know that. So we're gonna sit and wait on it. So 3 technically, I'm gonna just say 3 honestly is this one alone because I'm waiting. Now we got a 2nd candle. So now my 3, they're touching, right? So now my 3 has now spread to this. So I feel like it's going to cross because it always does. But what do we see? We see that we are outside of my zone. So I'm going to draw the zone up real quick for you, just so you can see where it's at. It's subject to change, obviously, before another candle forms. So well, you can see it. I don't want to do it just yet. But the zone, right now, that price point is barely over the channel. Okay. So the on the sell end. So now it shot back up, which I feel good about. And where's it going to be at the 3rd second? So right now it's underneath that, right? You see it, it's underneath the blue, but then now it's breaking even with it, and now it's slightly over. All right, so hopefully you guys can see that. Let me try to, for those that have somewhat bad vision, no judgment, even though that does sound like judgment. It's okay to have bad vision. That's what I'm here for, to help you see your way, right? So you see how I entered. I'm right inside the channel, but again, like I said, if it's a little bit beyond it, it's not an issue. I just kind of I kind of stay in the channel, but if it's a little bit over it, a little bit under it, it's not a big deal, as long as it's not like real far, okay? Um, and then boom, down, blah, blah, blah. We in there, right? I don't know what else to say, man. I feel like all this is super self-explanatory. It's not that exciting. And that's what you want. You want something that's easy to follow where you can be successful. Because that's what this is all about. It's about you guys. I only did two of them this morning, again, because it was slow. Uh, and I was busy. So, looking for another opportunity. I already missed this one. I'm late. If there was going to be something, the crossover already happened. So just looking for another bottom to top. Oh, here we go. Got another one. All right. So jumping in there, got to be that quick. Okay. So big channel. First thing you see is this one. I'm gonna start saying a channel. So one and two are kind of interchangeable, but one big channel is two. Big channel, ugly two. Sorry, but that's a two. Three, we work these together. You see the mouth open, and you see that's pointing upward. All right. And then four, like I said, these are real quick. So I know, trust me when I say you got to catch all this stuff like in an instant. So you already know, especially in this situation, you already see two qualifying candles. So what are my qualifying candles, do you guys think? Do you think it's the one to the left or to the right? Hopefully you're saying it's the one to the right. Okay, so this will be my first qualifying candle. This is my second. The reason why this one isn't because the majority of the green is underneath the blue line. Okay, if it was a little bit higher up and kind of no, never mind. Yeah, so this is because it's too far down. So this where I had that first arrow is what I saw. I can't even think of a situation where, I mean, because then it wouldn't even look like this. So it doesn't, just recognize that. Okay. So you want the majority of the candle to be over the midpoint zone if you are talking buy. Okay. And then everything else is easy as pie. So let's not waste time. Let's click that button. And as you can see, it shoots up and does what it does in 3 seconds, boom, or 5 seconds, boom. Do I care what it's doing right now? No, because I already got my money. All right. So, and then also note that, I'm sorry, just so that you're aware, that entry zone. All right. So my entry zone, 3 seconds, boom. See, it does. I swear it'd be doing that, but if you catch that 5 second, if you do that 5 second, time. It do that sometimes. I know I picked that a lot faster than that, but maybe trying to cheat me. Can't cheat me though. Got too much skill for that. So this is the zone you don't want to be in. Anything above that, we're good as long as it doesn't go well above that white. And as you can see, I entered in at a very good spot. Okay. So that's all good areas. So I know it looks like a few things you need to look at, but honestly, a lot of this stuff you don't have a choice but to see all at the same time. You're looking at the bottom, going beyond the midpoint. Once you see that midpoint is breached, you're automatically going to see the two candles, or you're going to be able to count to see how many candles are right there. So that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of that you see at the same time. It's just as soon as you identify, especially if you identify that you're about to be on that third candle, then you have to hurry up and look at everything else. But I mean, even the MACD and the oscillator, you're not worried about it being beyond 80. You're not worried about it being like curving. You just want it to be overall going up or down. You want to make sure that there's a cross. So these are very easy things to spot. I know, like, I mean, you see how quick I am making these decisions, but it's really that easy. It's not like rocket science. You don't have to worry about zones because if I was worried about a consolidating zone, I definitely wouldn't have jumped in at a buy at this point because I mean it's a 5 second clock, of course. So I don't know how trustworthy it is, but this if you're going to talk about zones, this is a zone. This is a zone, right? I mean, it's so you wouldn't buy at the top of a zone because your trading knowledge tells you that, hey, it's going to bounce back down and go this way, right? So again, algorithm, take all the feelings out of it, follow the process, be successful. get that money. Okay, whatever that looks like to you, you do it. All right. So this is my last trade. I just want to make sure I give you guys five. Um, and then I stayed in this one actually. Yeah, I stayed in this one because I thought I was going to have another sale opportunity. So you see, we got one qualifying candle forming. We got two forming right there. This is the second one, not that first one, right? And then the 3 second mark, I'm outside. Let's see. So the 3 second mark, I was outside. Uh, see, and it would have worked out for me, but that's life, right? So I could have jumped in it, but it moved, it shifted too fast over. I'm trying to show you here. Sorry. Goodness, hold on. So, so this was 4 seconds. Let's see if I can stop in no time. So that's 3 seconds. So, like I told you guys, um, I mean, me personally, I don't like to jump in if it goes beyond the blue, but these two arrows are my first and second candle. Okay, remember, this one is a big red candle that goes all the way to the bottom, but the majority of the body is above that middle zone, that middle channel. Okay, that middle line. All right. So I didn't count that first arrow. So I'm gonna erase it. I counted the next two. All right. But at the 3rd second, it's probably hard to see, but this is the end of that channel. Okay. Now I show you this because I told you a minute ago, if you're blindly following this, even if it's a little bit outside the channel, just jump in, especially if you're in a demo, because you're just practicing and you get a feel for it. The only time that I would encourage you not to do it at all is if it's like way down there. Like if it comes down all the way down here, I'm talking about the body, then don't do it because then you're setting yourself up to enter here and then it's going to jump back up on you and do some crazy stuff and you're going to lose that money. Okay. So, as you can see, if I did decide to do it, I would have got it, but I just stayed out of it. And again, if I, like I said, my goal is 3 seconds, not two. So if I was okay with two, I would have hit it at two. And as you can see, it would have closed out right there and that would have been a win. So you guys see how this works. And that's really the fun part of this because you can really knock this out easily. Just looking at this chart alone, so I mean, you have the one that I showed you. The second one would not qualify. So yeah, so let me see. So here would be your one. So you got one, you got two, and then depending on where this entered, I mean, it went down here, but it closed out like your 3rd second would have been on this area. So it's hard to say what would have happened, but I mean, if you're looking at the trajectory, I mean, chances are you probably would have got that one too. All right, so I just showed you three quick trades, and again, these are all 5 seconds. So this is probably, well, I'm not going to count that, but it's probably less than 2 minutes. I can definitely tell you. I mean, it's definitely less than a minute or 2 minutes. I can tell you that. So that's how easy this is, guys. So practice on your own, and just get this thing done, man. Trust me, you'll be successful with this. Don't panic or freak out. I have more videos. I'm gonna let this one play out and then I'll show you the next. So sorry, next thing playing this again. Okay, so I talked about the different plans and routes you can go with this. Again, when you're starting your account, keep the number low, man. Don't risk a bunch of money doing this. It's not necessary to have a bunch of money in your account to trade because you're going to be doing lower amounts. And with this process, I'm showing you how and I've done this now, so I try to practice what I preach. But start off with $50, or I had like 55 because it's a conversion rate, so you have to convert it. I use Bitcoin, but convert it to the account. So plus, it'll take away some of the fees and whatnot, depending on how you do it, and obviously, like I said, the conversion rate. But if you're putting in $50 or starting your account with $50, you are trading at $12. Okay. Now, this rush plan is the best way, in my opinion, to get a quick 1400 in your account. Because once you get about 1400 in your account, it opens up opportunities. Now, when you're doing this, you're not taking this money and using it. Okay. This is strictly for the account. Again, trust me, taking money out every day is good, but then you spend it even if it's on something that you need, and then it just doesn't seem like you're really earning anything, right? So the best way to do this is to earn the money, put it in your account, like this account, your trading account, and then when you get to a point where you have a lot more wiggle room, then start doing more meaningful trades if you wish to. Okay. So everybody's goal is their goal, but if you wish to do that, and then make it then at that point start to reward yourself. All right, so I'm willing to share my 30-day goal with you guys. That's probably all I'm gonna share is my 30-day goal, because we all have different goals. All right, so if your goal is extra money in your pocket, great. If your goal is let me just learn it just to learn it, great. If your goal is, hey, I need help with retirement, or I'm in retirement, I need to make some extra money, great. If your goal is, hey, I want to get away from my job and have my get stop doing this 9 to 5 and do this 100%, great. That is my goal. Okay. So, whatever that looks like to you, do it. But it can be done. So, day one, if you're doing a rush plan, this is what I like. I mean, I'm gonna show the other plan too, but the rush plan is what I like because it gets you to where you need to be in 7 days. All right. So, first day, I mean, this is very obvious, but not, so I don't want to talk to anybody like they slow, but day one, you're starting off with $12 trades. Okay, again, you're doing 92% yields. All right, so I didn't add change or anything to these as they went on, but $12 will get you $11 in return. And then if you do that 3 times, you'll have $33. Then you move to $15 to then $20. So at the end of the first day, you should have $64 in your account. Not life-changing money, but that's not the point. Okay, or not 64, but you should be 64 in profit. Let me rephrase. Okay, the next day. You start at 20 again. Then you bump it up to 25 for 3 trades, then 30. So then at that point, you have made $114 that day. So you should have 178 in your account. Third day, so on and so forth. 30, 30, 35, 328. Now that you're starting to use a little bit more money, you're seeing that that return is looking a little better. Okay. Now the key thing is with this is you're probably not going to go 5 for 5. Okay, it's not always going to happen that way. Migos. So typically, well, since I've been doing this, I mean, it's been smooth, but I haven't had any rough day. But I would say if I do have a rough day, and the only time I'm having a rough day, honestly, is because I'm doing this for the sake of science. So I'm trading more than 5 times because I'm trying to get you guys the information. But first half of the day is always good. It's the evening where it's like I'm just forcing stuff because I'm tired, and you're trying to hurry up and rush and do things that you need to do. So, um, but anyway, following this process, you'll be good. So I don't even want to put that on you, but just understand doing it this way allows you to, because like I said, when you're trading binary options, you're putting in $12 to get $11 return. So if you lose $1 if you get it, if you win. So if you win one, lose one, you're down. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not getting your money back, you're still down $1. So it can add up. It's more beneficial to do it that way, I would say, than just straight trading at a same number. Okay. Uh, just my honest opinion. Okay, until you get to a certain threshold where you're making meaningful money and that doesn't matter to you. But when you're first starting off the account, it can be pretty rough, especially if you're new, to just be putting in straight, let's say $12 trades. And you say, hey, I'm gonna just do 10 quick trades and I'm gonna win 10 trades and then I'm stopping because I've done that. And, I mean, you'll be close to it. I think the first time I did this, when I first did this, um, or no, when I first started, I was doing the other plan. A rush plan came in after, so I'll explain that on the next page. But you get it. At the end of the 7 days, you'll be at 1429. Okay, doing $75 trades. Okay, so let's go to the actual regular plan. Remember, 1400 is the number that you're stopping at. So if you are really cautious about getting into like bigger numbers because you want the more secure route, this is a good route too. So instead of doing it like daily, and I'm showing you climb up towards more so the end of the trading day with different numbers, you're just sticking to one consistent number. So day 1 and 3, you're trading $12. Remember that gets you $11 return. But those first 3 days, you are earning 55 a day. You probably, if you're winning, then you're probably, like I said, you'll have more success than losses, but you'll probably tap out around making $51 in that day. Should you jump back in to get the 55? No, just understand you're looking for 5 successful trades in a row. That's all, or I shouldn't say in a row, but you get what I'm saying. Like you want to have 5 successful trades. And if you obviously miss one, then you have to make up for it, right? So just understand that that is the mindset that you should have. If you're off by a few dollars, don't keep forcing it. Just get your 5 and stop. All right. Day 4 to 6, instead of starting at 12, you're now at 15, which yields $13 and some change. Gets you $69 a day. At the end of the 3 days, you should be at 207. All right. The 372 would be the total that you have. So if you see day 4 to 6 at the equals, like that should be your actual account size. Okay. Those other numbers are more so for myself. I didn't want to risk I didn't want to erase anything because this is based on my notes, right? But that is more so how many chances do I have at trading $15 towards this account before I blow the full account, right? Not a good mindset to have, but it just makes me to feel like I'm trading appropriately, okay? Because I'm giving myself this many chances before I have $0, which is really an unrealistic thing. I wouldn't, that'd be crazy to blow through your whole account. That means you're doing something crazy. So anyway, day 7, bump it up to 25. Same thing. Day 11, 30. So day 14. So day 14, if you do the 7 day rush plan, you should be starting at day 14. All right, you're at 1400, not necessarily 15. But like I said, given the situation where you're hitting this and all this and that, you probably won't have a even 1600 anyway. So 14 is close enough. But as you see, at day 14 to 16, this is when you can start to withdraw money. So at this point, you have eliminated a week of wait, right? Eliminated a week of wait, and you're in a position where you can start making money. So the rush plan, again, when I did the rush plan, it was so that I can go ahead and jump straight to day 14 and climb my way to near now day 30. Okay, we're close to my day 30 now. All right, so you guys see the numbers. Like I said, the key thing is that I'm going to get you to understand is if you are successful trading. So again, this is $50. I don't know why I have 32. That's not. Oh, you know what? And that's a typo. But I'm gonna keep it here because I'm gonna be cool with it. That's not supposed to say 32. Oh, I'm not gonna redo this video, so y'all, whatever. Y'all be okay. So, I don't know where I got 32, 20, 20, but anyway, um, regardless, yeah, that I think that was supposed to say 40 and or maybe 35. Yeah, I think that was supposed to be 35, not 50. So sorry. So day 14 is 35, but honestly speaking, let me do something here. Y'all don't judge me. So I'm sorry. So that 32.20 was I made an edit and I forgot to change it. Sorry. So $50 is where you're gonna start. Understand that's $46 return, not 32. I'm sorry. That's when I was doing 35. Like I said, I've been playing around with this, trying to find the most efficient way to get to grace, right? Um, so yeah, start off at 50. You're gonna get 46 every trade. Successful trade, and you do that 5 times, you get $230. At the end of the 3 days, you've made 690. You're going to keep a bulk of that back into the account. You're taking 225. So regardless of what that account size is, you're taking 225 because you want to reward yourself. Okay. You shouldn't be off by that much. Okay. If you are off that much, then you need to reconfigure things. But if you're somewhere in the 600 realm, you're fine. Okay, take 225 out, reward yourself. The next few days, you're going to do 60, where the numbers are actually correct, and then you're going to withdraw 300 after making around $800. So now you're basically making $100 a day. So now you see we're climbing up after only just a few days. Okay, day 20 to 22, scale up again. Now you're at 75 again. You already with the rush plan. Honestly speaking, you probably could just continue at 75. You probably don't have to drop to 50. I personally did not. I just have it on here because I want you guys to be safe. But with me, I started at 60. But if you say, hey, I just want to continue this motion to 75 and whatever, like do it. Okay, $166 a day for a couple of days, few days, sorry, it's good. Scale up to 100, and that's when that number starts to get more meaningful. Okay, so when you're doing the hundreds, even if I mean, you guys know what you need to make. I mean, like I said, your goal is your goal. If your goal is $100 a day, do it and do it comfortably. At some point, you'll scale up. Don't feel the need to press on like this. Unless you have something that you're trying to do. But like I said, everybody's goals are different. But once you get to that hundred number and you start trading at $100 and getting $92 in 5 seconds, it changes things, okay? But it's just that's not the goal for me. I'm trying to get like out of here and financially free and not retired, but not working for somebody. Um, so like I said, I'm not sharing all my goals, but I want you guys to at least see this because I think this is a good, this is a good start. I mean, this is more than a good start, but this is a good way to kind of really teach good habits of not only earning but um, actually rewarding yourself too. So having a good blend of both. So hopefully you guys appreciate it. I have more content out now that I already got this knocked out. I'll try to do some during the day if I can, but I'll just be so busy. So until next time, guys, again, like, subscribe, share it. Okay, share it. All right, you guys see my hair. Next time, if y'all got some suggestions on locking this up, I don't know what to do with it. It's getting a little crazy. I'm trying to get myself to December. I know this has nothing to do with trading, but December, January, I'm gonna do something with it. So if y'all have suggestions or something, let me know because I don't know. I got a bunch of girls, and the wife don't want to do my hair. They just hurt my feelings, But I'll figure it out. She not looking. She focused. All right, all right. I'm getting up. I get smacked in the back of my head. But love you guys. Appreciate you, and until next time.